Babylon was a magnificent and powerful city, situated along the banks of the Euphrates River. It was the capital of a vast empire that extended from Asia Minor to the Persian Gulf. In this short video, we will uncover its history, culture, and mysteries. Babylon, the city of the Hanging Gardens, and the Tower of Babel. The most famous king of Babylon was Hammurabi, a wise legislator and a skilled warrior. He reigned for approximately 42 years, from 1792 to 1750 BC, as the sixth king of the first Babylonian dynasty. He unified Mesopotamia under his rule, defeating rivals such as the Elamites, Larsa, Eshnunna, and Mari. He was a great builder, a cultural innovator, and a protector of justice. His most significant work was the set of laws named after him, the Code of Hammurabi. It consisted of 282 laws inscribed on a black basalt stele, nearly 8 feet tall, displayed in the city's main square. The Code of Hammurabi established the rights and duties of citizens, and the penalties for those who violated them. It was based on the principle of an eye for an eye, but it also considered distinctions between social classes. The Code of Hammurabi is considered the first example of written legislation in history and influenced many subsequent civilizations. But how did Hammurabi receive his code of laws? The answer lies in an ancient myth. The myth of Shamash and Hammurabi. According to the myth, Hammurabi received his code of laws from Shamash, the sun god of justice. The stele displaying the code depicts Hammurabi standing before Shamash, who is seated on a throne. The god hands the king the code of laws, signifying their divine origin. This symbolizes the connection between temporal and spiritual power, and Hammurabi's mission as a defender of order and truth. But Babylon was not only famous for its laws, it was also a spiritual and astronomical center of the ancient East. To understand why, we must look skyward. The Babylonians worshipped many gods, but the most important was Marduk, the Lord of heaven and earth. To honor him, they built a gigantic step tower called a ziggurat, which was meant to symbolize the link between the earthly and divine worlds. The most famous ziggurat was Etemenanke, which means house of the foundation of heaven and earth. It stood approximately 90 meters tall and had 7 levels of different colors, representing the 7 planets known to the Babylonians. At its summit, there was a temple dedicated to Marduk, where priests performed sacrifices and prayers. Scholars have identified Etemenanke with the legendary Tower of Babel mentioned in the Bible, as a symbol of human pride in attempting to reach the heavens. The Babylonians were great sky observers. They studied the movements of stars and planets to make predictions about the future. They were the first to divide the sky into 12 constellations, corresponding to the 12 months of the year, laying the foundation for astrology. They believed that the positions of celestial bodies at the time of one's birth influenced their character and destiny. This led to the development of a horoscope system based on the 12 zodiac signs, which is still used today to understand compatibility and expectations. Babylon was one of the brightest civilizations of antiquity, but also one of the most fragile. It was conquered and destroyed multiple times by enemy peoples, eventually fading from history. Babylon was conquered and destroyed by enemy peoples like the Assyrians, Medes, and Persians multiple times. The final conquest came in 331 BC, when Alexander the Great invaded and brought it under his empire. From then on, Babylon fell into obscurity, and its ruins were buried by sand for centuries. Only in the 19th century did archaeologists begin to excavate and unearth its hidden treasures. Today, we can admire some of its artifacts in museums around the world and imagine its ancient glory. This concludes our journey into the history of Babylon, the city of the Hanging Gardens, and the Tower of Babel. We've learned about its most famous king, Hammurabi, and his legal code. We've delved into the myth of Shamash and Hammurabi, and the gift of divine laws. We've marveled at the ziggurat of Etemenanke, the Tower of Babel. We've explored the Babylonians' contribution to astrology, the science of the stars. And we've witnessed the downfall of Babylon, the forgotten city.